Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. I speak about the beautiful paradise on earth. I make it sound as if you honor God by honoring God's creatures, God's humans, just the same as we ourselves want to be treated by others and by God. When I make these statements, I suggest the outcome of peace, of prosperity and freedom, of joy and happiness, and dreams lived. The essential entitlements for human survival is it's guaranteed to everyone by the Creator. Everyone has food and clothing and shelter and education and health care, transportation and infrastructure, and access to anything made by the hands of man according to their needs, their wants, and desires, and that at their leisure, or should I say at their pleasure. The agreement that is learned and practiced is that the unseen, the spiritual power, is responsible for the earth and all that is in it, on it, above it, seen and unseen, including but not limited to human beings and all that they are required to sustain self and discover truth. The resources given by God to the earth for whomever can use it is all free. The lesson is that we, as humans, must give of ourselves just as the Spirit gave of itself through our gifts and our talents, and we must do that freely. To engage in the process, we use careers of choice and use these in creating the goods and services that have been determined by the people that there is such. And through this, a manifestation in an abundance that no human on earth went or will want for anything that is not accessible. Now, all that I have mentioned here is imminent. Without its opposite, the haves and the have-nots, poverty, crime, and violence, hatred and racism and murder and war, debt and loans and money, none of this is needed in what I've just explained to you. However, evil is always possible. With choice, sin is possible until each is born again. Choosing the choice that produces paradise on earth, yet you can covet unjustly that of another, and the seed of rot is being born, which can destroy everything but truth, love, and God. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something about immigration. People are traveling all across the globe trying to find some comfortable place to settle. That is a failure of the human race. This is not just the places that they're running from. This is the totality of all the people on earth. They are responsible for all of the chaos that's on the earth. None of us are left out. None of us. And if any of us were in that position, you know exactly what we would want done. We would want our situation changed. We would want everything that everybody else wants. And since we don't have it, we would expect that anybody who cared would do any and everything they possibly can to change our situation and make it at least equal to that which they desire for themselves. So we, again, have failed. Another thing, when I talk about entitlements, or when you hear other people talk about entitlements, especially in capitalistic societies, especially in America, when they start talking about cutting entitlements. Let me say, ladies and gentlemen, when you start talking about cutting entitlements and entitlements according to the standards that, well, in America, white folks have set. It's not standards that the people have set, it's the standards that white folks have set. Just as down in Texas, white folks are trying to tell you what to take out, what you can teach, what not to teach, who can have kids and when not to. You know, that's the kind of stuff. So, I'm not talking about that kind of entitlement. You're entitled to be rich if you can and know how. You're entitled to be poor if you can't and don't know how. I'm talking about the real entitlement. The entitlements that came from the power that put you here. The entitlements that came by that same power, knowing what you would need by being here, prepared that all of anything that you might ever want in your lifetime, from the beginning of time to the end of time, would be right here on this earth, and you can access it and use it as you desire. That power I'm talking about, that made sure that you could live here in peace and be prosperous, but gave you a choice that you can live this way or you can go another way. If you don't want to go the other way, you don't have to. You can resist it as a group or as an individual. If you do it as a group, you can change things. If you do it as an individual, they might kill you. But that's the price you have to pay for being free. But knowing freedom, no one wants to be in bondage. So I'm saying to all the people in America, you don't have to take what the Democrats, they're limiting you. You don't have to take what the Republicans are either trying to take more. And Donald Trump trying to control you and be your God. All of all of us ought to be ashamed if we go that route. And to the people of the world, you know better. Some of you got health care, some of you got education, but you know better than those places that don't. Why? Because you still got the same thing, pain and suffering. You still got poverty. You still got crime and violence. And you still seemingly are heartless in relationship to those people who are traveling from nation to nation. It might be okay to hand out some care baskets. It might be okay to hand out some food when people are hungry. But that's not good enough. You don't want nobody handing you out baskets. I mean, you want it if you're hungry, but you are praising and thanking God that you got it coming through another source. And this is what they should have, through another source that's guaranteed by we the people, by the choices that we make. Okay, I think, one other thing. When we get old, most of us get sick. We don't just go to bed, go to sleep, and don't wake up. We get sick. Sometimes we have some health care, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we need people to care for us. Sometimes we're always in pain. Sometimes we are helpless and we need people to help us. And sometimes we become a burden to other people when we get old. A lot of us want to live forever, but please stop trying to live forever, especially knowing you're going to get sick, because you actually become a burden to other people. Now, what I'm saying is live a good life. Live the kind of life that you can be proud of. Care about one another so you don't have to be afraid of dying. And so you can have set up within your system a system that says when you get to a point where you know that you're going to be suffering with pain and that there's nothing that can prevent that, and you're dying, that you can go and actually exercise euthanasia, where they can put you to sleep and you don't wake up anymore. You don't have to go through any pain. You don't have to put anybody through any suffering, dealing with what you can't avoid. So think about that kind of compassion as well, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you again for giving me this your time. This is Eddie Morgan saying goodbye for now.